for the short change of the meeting time and date. I didn't realize it was spring break in the school district, so here we go anyways. So, roll call.
Alderperson Morissette.
Here.
Alderperson Wyland is absent. Alderperson Yakub.
Here.
Okay, minutes from the last meeting. Mary, I think you had some corrections you wanted to address.
Yes, I wanted to correct page 104, under the downtown parking signs and fees, the sentence right before the motion and the sentence in the motion, it should say 30% of total revenue after expenditures be used to fund another parking lot downtown. So that would have to be corrected in both those sentences. In the motion too, it would read 30% of total revenue after expenditures to be placed in a separate payment in lieu of parking fund.
Okay. If there are no other corrections, we should probably approve those with a condition that those are.
Yeah. Do I need to make that motion?
Mm-hmm.
I move to approve the minutes with the changes made today.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Mary. Which item was this one?
5K run.
5K run for, what was it?
Number 6.
Number 6, right? And now we're going to switch right to 6 if the committee would let us. So indulge. Number 6, David Smith. You want to hit the podium, state your name and address. And this item 6 is to consider request to conduct a Dash for Dads 5K foot race to benefit the Relay for Life on June 19th, 2011, beginning and ending on Prospect Park. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, my name is Dave Smith. I live at 723 St. Croix Street in North Hudson. My sisters have kind of put this together as a memorial run, is what it was originally planned to be, for my father, who passed away a few years ago from cancer, and they've been pretty heavily involved with the Relay for Life and stuff like that, and that's what this is actually aimed at, but it's just kind of a little sidebar because they wanted to kind of do something on their own. It's going to be a very low-key, it's a run-walk type deal. It's not really what you would call a marathon type deal or anything like that, but I have a nephew who is a officer in the Coast Guard who has done quite a bit of these type deals all over the country, and he is the one, Luke Peterson, who is going to be putting it together and managing most of it. I know they've been talking, my sister Minda Barthman has been talking with Tom, or the chief of police, Marty, and they've been going over the route and all that, and he is, he's had a lot of good suggestions on that for the route, and it's going to be just a real quick Sunday morning deal, the morning of Father's Day. It's going from Prospect Park and just winding down by Newton Field and back up around on Wisconsin Street and back to Prospect Park. Like I say, it's going to be a very, very low-key deal. I know, talking with Marty, they have talked about having at least 1 or 2 volunteers at every corner. We will have cones out along the whole route, that type of deal. It's not going to be a long, drawn-out race either. It's going to go fairly quickly, just because it's not very far. It's just more of a family-geared deal to, just because so many families are affected by the cancer nowadays. It just seems like there's no one that is not touched by it, and it's just kind of our way of trying to give back a little bit. The reason we called it the Dash for Dads, because we figured my dad would probably roll over in his grave if we actually put his name on it. So he was always very heavily involved in all the activities in the city. I've lived my whole life in the city here, and a couple of my sisters are still in town. I've got only one sister that is out of town, but it's actually her nephew or her son that is going to be in charge of the whole project. And we were able to acquire the insurance, which was, I know Marty had said that with anything under 1,000 people, that you didn't need the liability insurance on that, but we felt that was pretty necessary anyway, and he was able to acquire that through the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Running Club. And so that will be, you've got a copy of the policy there, but our name will be listed on that. This actual race will be listed on that insurance policy, and that's, I think, $1 million per occurrence. Other than that, it's just a matter of having enough volunteers, and we feel very confident that we'll have enough people to help out and have people, like I say, at all the corners, at all the crossings, street crossings and stuff like that. And that was basically Marty's only concern, was that we have enough people at these areas that, we don't have to worry about people crossing the street with cars coming and going and that type of stuff. So,
Okay.
Other than that, that's about it in a nutshell. It's June 19th, which is the morning of Father's Day. Whether that's the best day or not to have it, I don't know, but it wasn't my decision. So it is all tied in with the Relay for Life. The money that we do raise is going towards that. It's working under the Relay for Life umbrella fundraiser. So we will not have to have a separate whatever you would call it, license or whatever, as a nonprofit, because we will be working under the Relay for Life umbrella, and they are actually going to help us supply with both supplies, water, that type of stuff, and volunteers also from the Relay for Life. I don't know if you guys have any questions at all.
No, but I appreciate the fact you guys went above and beyond with the liability insurance. That just kind of assures us that you've got your ducks in.
It's one thing I've been very aware of. I know we'll have, everybody who runs in it, they sign a waiver, but I've done too many things with the boosters and stuff that I've been involved in to know that a waiver is only as good as the piece of paper that it's written on. Right. That the insurance is almost, no matter if you have 10 people even, it's almost a necessity. Okay. Because, if something tragic did happen, somebody falls and skins their knee, it's one thing, but who knows what could happen, and then everybody's liable without that insurance policy in place.
Detective Sergeant Atkinson, do you have any concerns Chief Jensen might have brought up?
Oh, Chief Jensen was in approval of the program and thought that as long as they had the volunteers working the corners, making sure everybody crossed the street safely, that it wouldn't be a problem. And we've had runs like this in the city before that have gone off without a hitch, so I don't see any issues.
Okay. Alderperson?
No, I only had a question on which map, because we had 3 in our packet, but you clarified that before when you came, so I'm good to
I
go.
received that one at about 7 o'clock last night from Florida there, so.
Oh, that's great. I'm excited for you guys. I move to approve the Dash for Dads run on June 19th.
Okay. I'll second, but will you make sure that contingent upon receiving of the item, making sure you're listed on the insurance? Yes,
on the insurance, yes. Yep.
Yes, I'll do that.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. So we'll recommend it on the council for approval.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, back up to number 3 under parking. A, consider new design of public parking lot signs in the downtown area. And I will hand this off to Alderperson Yakub.
Okay, so we already agreed upon at last public safety meeting that we were going to work on changing the public parking signs so that are more visible and people are more aware as where the public parking lots are. I'd like to, we did have Tricia Christensen did some pro bono work for us on some different sign designs. However, my only concern is that highway, Second Street is a state highway, and we have to have certain specs for a state highway, which is the original, the blue, this one. So I think the designs that Tricia did are great. I would have questions though if we'd want to stay consistent with every single sign on every lot, or if we'd want to switch it up on the side streets, like on Locust Street down by the Phipps lot and by the Bandshell lot and stuff, if we'd want to maybe have a design on those lots to bring a little character, or if we want to stay consistent with one sign that would have to be more like the standard state-issued type public parking sign.
So you're saying the DOT would rather us go with the original design than anything that
That-
she's designed?
That was the assumption I'm left under. Denny will have to confirm that. But they have certain colors that they require. And I know that this color take is what they're requiring. This type, from what I've learned and what I've understood from talking to Foth and talking to Denny, is that there's certain requirements. And I'm fairly certain that to have designs like this on Second Street is probably, I don't want to say for sure because that's not my
Well, we
job.
could certainly move forward with either design or a design for the parking lots themselves,
That's what I was,
and then hold off unless, Sergeant, you have any idea of what DOT is looking for. Mr. Krupich, do you?
No, I know they have certain specs, but that would be Mr. Darnold's call.
Okay. I mean, I like number C, minus naming the lot.
right, that was the other thing I was going to talk about. I would like to change the names of the lots. If this goes on to council, if they would approve it to something more standard like lots A, B, C, D. So when we do have the map that the chamber is working on, a new map, it's all going to coordinate. So when visitors come in town, or if someone goes on a website for a business in town, they can see what the closest lot is that they can park in, or what have you. Each lot in the city has at least 3 names by citizens, and I would like to just standardize anything. I did ask Denny Darnold if these lots had, if these lots were named for any significant reasons, and he felt that if we wanted to change the names and make them more standard, that that's something we could do. So I'm also going to make that suggestion as well, to letter the lots.
Yeah, I'm very in favor of the first, the regular sign. I don't know if the general public can see that or not. Parking with the letter A, B, C, D, and
Right.
down the line. That way you can put it right on a map.
Right.
People can go right to that map. Oh, there's A, there's B. Let's not confuse it anymore. Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Right. And you like the yellow. Which of the designs that Tricia did, if we were going to take, I would like to maybe take 2 designs on to council, and if Denny tells us we can't use them, we just know. And if we're,
Which ones? The first one? And
I'd like to take, for sure, we need to take the standard sign to council, and then pick one of the 3 designs that, I'm assuming the more designs we give to make up, the more expensive it's going to get. We'd probably want to stay, as one. So I think we could probably pick from one of the 3 for possible approval, if we can do that. And if the council wants to keep everything consistent, that's one thing. If Denny says we can mix it up and we want to do that, that's another thing.
I'd rather give the council 2 options.
Two
Let's
design options? Okay,
keep it simple for them. So hopefully it'll expedite the process. We can
Right.
get these up by spring possibly.
right, that's my goal. So 2 on top of
No.
the 1,
My thought would be this one,
right,
and then the regular one that was in our packet
right,
that the DOT likes.
right,
That
that's
one.
what I was suggesting.
Yeah.
1 of each.
You said, oh yeah, I thought you said 3.
No.
Yes, Tom.
It was my understanding that,
Come on, you're on, the lights and the cameras are on. You got to be on TV.
that one time that the parking lots, the color was designated as more of a green symbol or things like
Mhm.
that. I'm a little concerned, and maybe it's okay, but I see that when you held your pictures up, I don't have a copy of that, but when you start talking about blue, I thought that was designated for hospitals and things like that.
No, this came from
So
another city. Denny pulled this out for
City of
us.
Kirkland.
Yeah,
I just wanted to check before
Yep.
you got too far, but and it probably is correct, but I'm just saying, a lot of times that
point.
hospital symbols are blue,
yeah,
and we've always used the green symbols to designate parking, but,
right.
um,
I left it up to Denny to find
Okay,
some
we'll
designs,
follow up
so
on
I'm
that,
gonna,
but I just-
yeah. We got this information late Friday, so we haven't had time to meet with Denny so that's why I want to just possibly move it on to council and just, by then Denny will be able to look at everything and help us advise us better.
okay, I just wanted to bring that up with the colors, but.
So is the general consensus of this committee that, and including you folks, that you like this idea, we need to move forward with it?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
So I'm I'm not picky over either one of these two. Not, this one I wouldn't do, but,
I guess what I'm trying to do is streamline it to the council.
yeah,
so we don't
I
have
want to
so many
streamline it to
choices.
council too, so pick your poison, is what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to move that we send to full council the public parking signs, design options.
Let's just label them item 1
Yep,
and item 2.
Exactly. Item 1 will be this.
I've noticed that some of those dimensions were, item 1, wait, no. They look very similar, but the dimensions are different.
Right.
One says type 6, one says type 5, so which one are you referring to?
I'm going to go, well, I think that we're going to do type 6.
Okay.
And then the yellow nature cutout concept that Tricia donated as a second option for public parking signs, as well as changing the lot names to standard letters.
And where are you identifying the funding source?
From the parking fund.
And I'll second that motion. You kind of want to sum that motion up for the public, Melanie, when you get done?
Yep.
How many signs are you talking about?
We're going to replace the existing signs, so I think I counted 13 total signs.
So maybe
Out there?
15.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there's 13. There's like one, you know.
And did we know how much this one costs?
No.
We need to get that, well, before it goes to council then.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, we'll have 3 weeks to get that information before it goes to council, because it won't go to the March 21st council meeting.
The only thing with these, these are kind of where our, maybe a little bit lower where our flags and Christmas decorations go, so, and you can't go much lower because the semi-trailers or other vehicles hit them, if we go lower below that, so I don't know, maybe we'd put them on the sidewalk side, would that be something considered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you can see it in vehicle.
Yeah,
I mean, if these are gonna be up permanently, so, if we have them where the decorations and the flags go, it might be a.
We don't want to get in the way of those. It's just.
no, and if we have to adjust for, I think some of these signs need adjustment anyways, as to where they're already located. As far as the ones on the parking lots, for example, you can't read the public parking sign in that Williams lot. No one knows. You have to walk past it to see it, and there's the Phipps lot kind of goes, you drive past the entrance, and I think that we will probably be looking at if where they are currently is even the best location too.
And we want to keep it consistent throughout the city, where we put them.
Yeah.
Melanie.
Okay, I have a motion to send to council public parking sign design option type 6, as well as the yellow nature cutout concept, and to change the names of the parking lots to standardized letters to be funded from the parking fund.
Thank you. Any further discussion on that?
No, but I'll follow up with Denny, and I don't think it was really possible to get pricing until we knew what we were going to do and decide on, so that's why I didn't have any.
Well, make sure you
pricing, so-
confirm with Denny, and then you can talk with Melanie and put it on the issue sheet.
Yep, I'll get it taken
As we
care of
go
before that council
Further to
meeting.
council. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, moves on to council. Thank you, Mary. Number 4, consider the barricade Locust Street, consider request to barricade Locust Street between 2nd and 3rd Streets on the second Friday each month, May through September, for the 6th annual Locust Street Car Show. And we have done this in the past without any incident. Sergeant Atkinson?
There's never been any problem, and people seem to enjoy it, so the police department doesn't have a problem.
How many barricades do we use?
Typically use 2 at Locust and 3rd, and then 2 at Locust and 2nd Street.
So I saw that on Common Council tonight, we're going to be discussing barricade costs.
We send this on.
It's going to be after Common Council discussion night, so I mean, this may or may come at a cost to Canokies. I don't know how I want to make a motion to approve this, but I just do not know, I don't know how to. Yes.
I know in this case, what we've done in the past is we've just placed barricades down in the alley underneath the stairwell there, and they actually, we just leave them there. Canokies or whoever sets it up, puts them up and takes them down, so it's really not any cost to the city. I mean, we just leave them there. We haven't had any issue with vandalism or stealing, so we just basically leave them in the alley for the summer, and they put them up and take them down.
Okay.
I mean, you can make a motion not to charge. I mean, if that's what
Yeah, okay, fine.
I'm not sure you're on that side of the fence.
Right,
but
so I'm going to move to approve the the Canokies Locust Street Car Show. I'm just going to move for approval and
Okay, I'll second the move to recommend the council we approve it as is.
with no additional charges.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Trying to draw something out of me.
Consider number 5. Consider a request to conduct the 3rd annual Monica Jensen Foundation Foot Race, June 4th, 2011, at 8 a.m. Sergeant.
We haven't had any issues with the race either. All of our races that have occurred in town have gone off without incident, and we haven't had any pedestrian problems or vehicle problems with the races.
So we'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 7, consider request to install a handrail at this new sidewalk on north side of Vine Street between 2nd Street and the library. Tom Zulli, if you'd take the podium again. You should just stay up there all day.
It was a request from the safety committee that we get costs for a railing for the newly installed sidewalk from 2nd Street to the driveway of the library police department parking lot. So we did that and got costs for that. And I think it's stalled at the council level,
Public Works, I think.
Public Works.
It's stalled there.
Well, I read in the Public Works minutes that they took the funding out of the budget, so, for the rail.
Okay.
So to me, it's stalled, so,
We did when we put out bids. Dave Gray, the building inspector from the city, we've looked at the area a couple times, and the area from 2nd Street, the first portion of the hill to the going west is the steepest. So when we put out submitted bids, we just requested the first 80 feet. I think it's a total of 65 feet. So we divided the bids up to just specify the first 80 feet, which is the steepest. And that was, I think, around $5,000.
Well, this committee needs to address it as a safety issue, and we could send it to the finance committee to decide whether or not to fund it. I mean, we have identified it as a safety issue. I know Lee's been pretty passionate about it, so we need to make the decision. I think we could just, not to kick it to another committee, but they need to identify a funding source, if not bond for it. Is that probably a good summary, Tom?
Yep.
So I'll move to send this to Finance Committee to find out where we can find the funding, or if.
do you think, I just want to know, Tom's, I mean, you've been out there more than I have, so are you confident that there should be something in that first 80 feet, or?
Dave and I looked at that, and I think it's pretty steep. The first portion of it from, 2nd Street sidewalk, and then that first area is steep. Be a good time to go look at it after the meeting when there's a little bit of snow on it. And
Yeah. And I know that there was a question raised if we were able to not have that be as steep, but I'm pretty certain you can't do anything with the topography of that. That's just how it's going to be. So I'm assuming.
Well, that would incur more costs.
Right.
We're not going to do that.
So, well, I know the question was raised at Public Works, but I didn't see the response in the minutes, so I was just looking to hear what was said. Okay, I'm going to second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion passes to send this on to finance, so hopefully identify a funding source, since we have decided it is more or less a safety issue. Number 8 is consider the city sandbag policy and procedure. Tom, I don't know if you've been in conversation with Chief Christensen from EMS. He had requested that I put this on the public safety due to what could be a potential record-setting flood year, to identify, because the city of Hudson does not really have a sandbagging policy, for residents to come and ask, what do we do? And so this is kind of what we came up with. I took the liberty of kind of rewriting the city of Ferndale, state of Washington, and kind of made it into the city of Hudson's sandbagging policy. And I don't know if you had a chance to read it.
I haven't. So the only thing that we've done in the past is that we have a supply of sandbags on hand. Currently, we have like 15,000 that we've identified that we have in storage. I talked with Eric Friday, and I'm planning on ordering another 10,000 today.
So yeah, he was saying something, he wanted about 25,000.
So that's what we're planning on, yes. So I guess the issue would be then what's the city policy, if they're just going to give them to residents or charge them, or are we going to supply sand or whatever. So that's kind of where we're at, is we have to decide what the policy would be.
And do you know if any of your, other partner sister cities, any comparable sized cities, what kind of policies they have that are around? I know Eric had some difficulty actually finding a policy for sandbagging.
That's what he said Friday, that he spoke with, I think, a few communities around, and nothing was really set.
I mean, one of these says they charge 5 cents a bag. I mean, does that cover our costs? Things like that.
Currently, if we would order bags, last week it was like about 24 cents a bag, just a bag, and then no sand.
Oh.
So no, 5 cents wouldn't cover it. They're in between 22, 25 cents a bag.
And or do we hire, or do we charge at all? Because realistically, there's only a few residents and some businesses that are going to be the ones that have to be using these sandbags, Front Street and then all along the First Street. It's a handful of residents.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to the city to decide whether we charge it all or not. Again, this is probably a finance issue.
Where do they get the sand from? I read the policy, but I didn't see where do you keep the sand? Down by the, where do we have the supply?
Last year we just had some minor flooding or whatever. We just kept the sandbags up at the city garage, and then we just put a pile of sand up there
By Lake Mount, over by Lake
the city
Mount.
garage. Yeah. We have delivered sand like a few years ago when the flooding was a little more serious. We did deliver sand to a certain few locations.
So I guess what we need to do is send this on to both finance and the full city council to go through this and get some other ideas. But we need to get this in place to identify what procedure we would go with in the course of people needing sandbags. Any other questions, Sergeant?
I do not.
You wanted me to correct a spelling error or no?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I
Okay.
mean, sure.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know how you're signing this on, so
I had my secretary type it. How
yeah, I
about
bet you did. At least you know I read it.
Well, that's a good start.
So the priorities in the second sentence in the bottom is spelled wrong. From the last paragraph in the second sentence.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you very
problem.
much.
So are you content with signing on with 5 cents fee for?
No, that's just an example. I mean, we can tailor this policy to whatever the city sees fit or council feels fit.
Okay.
But I strongly recommend that we adopt a sandbagging policy for the
Yeah.
city.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we can send this to finance to go over the numbers.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I move to send this to finance to review possible fees for sandbagging
Fees and costs.
and costs, yeah.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 9, EMS, Fire Department, and Police Department updates. We'll start with Fire. Dave.
We are coming in a time of year, we're gonna spring ahead, change the clocks. It happens every year. It's coming up here in the next, I don't know if it's this week or next week. It's coming up very shortly here.
20th.
When is it?
20th.
20th. So traditionally, the fire service throughout the country, along with the National Fire Protection Association, International Association of Fire Chiefs, we strongly urge people to, as they change their clocks, they have to bring a ladder out because they have to change the clock normally on the wall. We ask them to change their batteries in their smoke detectors and also in their CO detectors. And just a reminder, in the state of Wisconsin, as of February 1st of this year, you're required to have a CO detector in all residences.
Thank you. Police Department, and you might as well go into this, I think, unless this was just for information, I don't know. The camera, it was in our
It was
packet.
just for information.
Okay, go ahead.
The only thing that we'd like to talk about is there is a scam that some people may be aware of that's occurring where people are getting phone calls from people claiming to either be members of their family or representatives of their family, indicating that they're in a foreign country, they're in trouble, maybe been mugged, might be in jail, and they're requesting that there be money wired or transferred to some foreign account. Just be aware that this is a scam that's been occurring now for about the last 2 years. So if you do get phone calls like this, be aware. They are trying to get your money, and this is money that's being sent to foreign accounts, and it makes it near impossible for any investigation to occur. And it does come under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Secret Service, since it is an internet crime. But please be aware that this is a scam and try to avoid sending the money. If you do believe your relative or friend is in trouble, do some checking first just to make sure it's okay. But it is a common scam that's occurring right now, and we want citizens to be aware of it and to avoid it at all costs.
Thank you. Any other updates?
No.
Any questions for Sergeant Atkinson? No. Number 10, informational items. I guess we could probably skip over A. I'm not sure, do you have an update on the space needs? We need to keep that on there, and we should identify the parking meter storage, what we're doing with that. We talked about it the last time, so maybe not so much. And we need to figure out where we're going to put the parking meter stuff. For your information, in your packet, you had the on-call policy for emergency service. This was something I was concerned about in the past. So you can read through that if you already have it, and if you want to talk about it at the next meeting or make some recommended changes, and we can put it on our next agenda. Any questions on that? On-call? Future items for the next agenda? Anybody? So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.